the AI investment isn't paying off, well, companies that have invested way too much, way too fast, are going to see their valuations collapse, right? Certainly on an individual case-by-case basis, these questions do matter, and market cycles will happen. Downtrends will happen. However, if you're focusing and obsessing over these questions, you might just be missing the forest for the trees. Here are the trees, what people think matters. The companies and how much money they are going to make from AI. That's a small part of it. That's just the trees of an overall forest. What actually matters, the forest, the country with the best AI is going to be the most powerful economically, militarily, and technologically. So in other words, this is actually not just a small, simple battle between companies to see who's going to make the most money over the long run. It's actually which country is going to develop the best AI and is going to become the next superpower, the top dog of the 21st century. Whichever country wins the AI arms race is going to be the number one in terms of economy, military, technology, living standards, is going to be able to rewrite the culture of the world. This is what we saw with the United States the last 100 years and on, and whoever wins this AI arms race is going to be the next to have the torch on that. And really, this is a race between the United States and its allies and China and its close allies. Now, I like to be an optimist and be pacifistic and say that, hey, maybe we're all going to be friends, kumbaya. But history suggests other things, and if you really look at history, it suggests that the only ways that people can be friends is with mutual competitiveness. But this AI arms race has the potential to completely derail the entire world order. Now you might think, wait, Charlie, what does this have to do with anything? I'm just here to make some money, Charlie. This national security threat means that AI investment is not just going to be tied to profits. It's going to be increasingly bankrolled and backed and protected by the US government. And because the private sector knows this and they know Uncle Sam's going to be behind their rear end every time they fall, well, it emboldens them even more to invest. And we're not even talking about the lowering of the interest rates by the Fed, which is going to cause even more investment. The folks that are saying that AI investment within the United States is going to stop, well, they must also believe that the United States is going to be willing to bow down to China, which again is not the reality of what we're already seeing, let alone what we're going to see in 5 to 10 years. So here are the early phases of the AI arms race. Now, pay attention very, very closely because almost all of these are already happening. Phase 1, recognition. Global leaders realize AI is the new arms race. Dominance in artificial intelligence is seen as critical to national security and economic power. Phase 2, the investment surge. Massive private sector spending begins, led by US tech giants and Chinese state-backed firms, racing to build compute infrastructure and train frontier models. Phase 3, government intervention. As capital expenditure CapEx needs outgrow corporate balance sheets, governments step in. The US and China begin directly funding AI infrastructure, chips, data centers, energy security. AI funding becomes the modern equivalent of the Cold War space race. Phase 4, currency impact. To fund this new wave of national spending, both sides expand their money supply, aka print money, effectively debasing their own currencies. Phase 5, the asset response. So investors hedge against debasement, leading to rallies in gold, silver, Bitcoin, and other stores of value. Productive asset owners, owners of shares in AI and AI-related stocks, see massive, massive wealth accumulation, while regular folks see their purchasing power eroded, and many, many will even lose their jobs entirely. Okay, so in order to have the best AI as a country, what areas does your private and public sector have to invest in? Well, energy, rare earths, chips, data centers, software. These are areas that I believe very, very strongly are going to be backstopped long-term by the federal government, by the Fed with low interest rates, and by the private sector that wants to make money piggybacking off Uncle Sam.